Good morning, everybody, and welcome back. Or if you're new here, welcome to another edition of Kingly Conversations, man. And this week, we definitely got a spicy one for you. And we don't have no shout-outs. So this week, we're going to be talking about those filthy, dirty, dumb sheep. So strap in. Let the kings talk about it. Welcome back, good people, and welcome to another edition of Kingly Conversations, man. And as I am every single week, you already know who it is, man. It's Alan.
Hey, yo, it's your boy Twine, a.k.a. Twine. Ask me about my podcast, man. You know what time it is.
It's your
Got him.
and your mentor, Calvin D. Hill.
Yeah. All right.
Now,
All right, so
this. Oh yeah. You had the title. Go ahead.
you
Go
go.
ahead. No,
It's
it's your title. It's your title. I want.
No.
Hey. I'm about to jump in with both feet, y'all.
I like it. All right. So, with that being said, who changed it?
You did.
I didn't. Okay. Anyway, the topic of the day is filthy, dirty, dumb sheep.
And what is that pertaining to?
I'm talking about all you fake Christians out here, cuz. You're weekend warriors. That's what I'm talking about. That's what the topic is, man.
Tell them how you really feel.
I just did. Did.
Now, why do you say they're weekend warriors? Let's get that. Let's go there.
Okay,
Let's do that one.
Let me give y'all some content, all right? Because I don't want y'all to just come in here blind like, oh my God, he's hating on Christians. No, that's not the case.
There it is. Go ahead.
I deal with certain individuals, unfortunately. I come across people who have this facade of being something that they are not. Okay? You're nasty.
Nasty. Go ahead.
You're dirty. You're filthy. So with that being said, don't come around me with this holier than thou attitude when I know and you have shown me that you ain't about that life for real. All right? You're doing all this reading and supposed to be getting guidance and direction.
Talk about it.
But you choose not to take heed. So basically, you telling me that you love the Lord, but you worshiping the devil. Is what I'm gathering from that. Okay, yeah. So there you go. You got the content, and that's how I feel about this situation. Like, if you're gonna do it, do it. Like, why you half stepping? Don't be around me with that fake energy. All right. So that's where we coming from.
Very good.
All right. So, what is a Christian anyway, Calvin?
Well, first off.
Oh, okay. Backtracking?
No, because you can pick up from right there, and that's one of those modern Western, what do you want to call it? I call it a colloquialism because people really don't know what a Christian is, and that's something that they try to use because, okay, in America, we're in church and we go to, this is our title. But really, most people don't know because they don't read the Bible. I'm going to say it again because most people, yes, it do, because we were taught something different than the Bible. You were taught a culture. You were taught a system of belief. You weren't taught to read the Bible and go study that. So everything you're talking about is so true. And it's because most people, what you call Christians, don't read the book. Part two, most Christians really don't practice everything in that book. So part three then, most of the people that tell the Christians to be a certain way don't know what's in the book either. So to me, most people that say they are fake and phony, they don't know what the actual Christian should be or do. And they can't live it in front of them to show them how. So that's why I like to tell people all the time, hey, you might want to leave them alone.
Nope.
You might want to leave them alone. Because
why would I? Why? Why do you say that? That sounds like a threat to me.
No, it's not a threat. It's just the way of life. Because most of the time when somebody says, okay, you, it ends up coming back to them.
Oh, so you
a lot of this yes. A lot of stuff that people put off on Christians, most of the time when you judge them like that, you say, hey, you're not doing X, Y, Z. You're not that, yada, yada. Okay, stand by because it's coming.
I just mind my business.
That's why I try to tell people all the time, mind your business.
But see, what I'm saying is,
you try to talk about the ones that come and hit you in the head with a script. Hey, you should do all that.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. That's like the community that wants to portray and put stuff on you just because. You know what I mean?
But my thing is, again, 80% of them don't read their own text and don't practice it. So you can't really say, you should do when you don't know.
Okay, I got
this is what I'm saying. Most people who try to tell Christians that you're not doing X, Y, Z, they have no real reference point other than in their opinion.
Understood.
So, and that's why I do what I do. I just say, hey, let them be. Leave the people that ain't Christians alone. Leave the people that are Christians alone. Let them figure it out. Because at the end of the day, what we have to be cautious of is that beam in the. Alan like to call it that beam that's in
blum, blum, blum. That beam that's in your eye.
But the funny thing again, the situations that they go through are the exact same situations that other people live in too. Nobody's exempt. It's called life. Nobody's exempt.
Yeah.
So people are looking for a distinct difference in life when we're facing the same trials.
You know what, Kelvin? I'm glad you said a distinct difference because I am confused.
Yeah.
Why are there so many denominations in Christianity? Because I don't how do I follow one and they're telling me that they're right, and then you got some other denominations saying no, that's not right. It needs to be this way. It needs to be worded that way. Yep. Like how can someone not get confused in the difference in distinguishing the difference?
Easy.
I'm listening.
Because we live in a country that feeds on divisive techniques and dividing people. That's why.
I don't know.
Not also, yeah. And also we have men, people, women, I don't care what you call yourselves nowadays, that I want to do my way. I don't want to do the text way. I want to interpret.
You say you don't want to do it by the text way. However, you have individuals that would use the text and put it in a way that works for them. So technically, they are used
out of context.
They're using the text.
They taking it and twisting it right.
So
because I don't want to use
context.
It because I don't want to use it the way it's meant to be used.
So who? That's my question. You said the way it's meant to be used.
Right.
So where do you get that from? The origin of the meaning of it compared to what it's supposed to be and how they interpret it.
That's where homework got to come in. That's where that research time got to be put in. That's where people got to stop what you're doing and start reading.
So basically,
you got to go way back. Go ahead, Alan.
On the topic of research, man, this is where my issue comes in a lot of the time, because what I find, and we've talked about this before, not about specifically about Christianity or any religion for that matter, but we've talked about it before just in general, that the problem is most people are only going to research stuff that reaffirms what they already think. And so they're not going to research. They're not going to look at sources that might say, or people that might say, well, this is what this meant. They're only, and for the most part, like when I was finally taught how to study, right, the only thing I was taught was Strong's. Then I come to find out that a lot of people, but that's all I was taught. And then you come to find out that some of the stuff in Strong's is wrong, is incorrect. But if you're somebody who only studies a Strong's concordance, then you're going to be functioning off information that could be incorrect and could be improper. So how then, when we say research, the problem with research is then you might run into stuff that says, oh, well, this, I got to do some more research. And I got to do some more. It's a never-ending trek to try to get to the problem is, so this is, I've heard somebody say it this way. It's like it's so weird because we're reading stories about people written about people who didn't have the Bible to actually look at to figure out how to do this thing. Right? They didn't have a Bible in the way that we know it today. Because I mean, certainly Abraham couldn't have, but like maybe a couple scraps of paper,
couple screws.
Okay,
right.
So all right, cool, I got it. But we are sitting here saying, what the things that we say without doing any research on what things may have meant, especially when we, when they are, because people just don't want to look it up. I mean, at the end of the day, they don't want to find out.
No, definitely don't want.
They want to listen to the pressure.
But
also,
they want to be the sheep.
But also, here's the second part. What are you using it for? This is my big one. This is like my
browbeation.
Like, what are you using church Christianity, your Bible, your so-called theology or religious belief, what are you using it for? That's always my question, because that stops all, because what is the purpose of you doing what you're doing? Like you said, most people are sheep, and whatever you want to use your well, I don't agree with that title, but
what, that's filthy, look, dirty, dumb sheep.
Here's what I in my own life. Here's what I've seen people use it for. It's almost a human nature. It's almost human nature, I think, because what they'll use it for is, I learned this thing, or at least I think I learned this thing, and so I must now put that on you. So like we always talk about communities that force their beliefs on people, but that's what everybody is doing. Everybody is forcing their beliefs on each other, and killing each other over it instead of minding their own business.
Yeah, but I today's age and living in America, there is a heavy. Let me see how I can say this. Because of slavery, there's a lot of stuff that was done and still done today that has nothing to do with the Bible.
100,000%.
Zero.
Hey, put that finger down. Put that finger down.
So to me, half the stuff, like you said, the stuff we do in church is tradition. It has no purpose. So I will always say, hey, read the book and do some homework, because if you're trying to get closer or find God, I would say choose this path. If you're trying to just educate yourself more spiritually or whatever else, then
for enlightenment.
Yeah, for enlightenment, because that's your purpose. Have at it. But when you say Christians are fake and phony, no, because they are people.
Correction. I didn't say they were phony.
Filthy,
dirty, dumb sheep. That's what I said.
See, okay, all right. I'm gonna let you have it. I'm gonna let you have it. Just beware,
because technically, that is true.
Yeah, no, he's right though. He's right though, because even in the text it says you are as dumb sheep. Silent sheep that follow. The problem is who you following. That's what I always say.
That's always
There's nothing wrong with following. You should follow the right. You should follow the right one.
That is my.
I heard it
What's
this way.
What's the right one?
This is what I heard. I heard it this way.
So here you go. For
What's
Christians,
the right one?
For Christians, it should be.
Now wait a minute. Before you even
for
say
Christians,
anything.
no, I got to. Go ahead. For Christians, because it don't apply to everybody.
So who says that you're right though?
But if you're a Christian, based on what your definition is, you should be following the teachings of Christ. Because if you're not a Christian.
I mean, you would.
Could you say that again, please?
If you are not following the teachings of Christ, you are not a Christian.
Okay.
I mean, that's how they got the name.
Right. So at the end of the day, if you saying these filthy, dirty, dumb, they doing this,
they're not Christians. because they not doing.
Okay, so
Thank you.
They are attendees.
Thank you. That was my.
Hey, but I know that's what you were. I knew that's what you were trying to get at. But
we gonna walk around this
I like
bush.
going around the block a couple of times because when I'm walking around the block, I can get some other.
And that's my whole point, man. Just if you're not following Christ, then stop. Stop.
But that's. Go ahead.
Listening.
Okay.
I'm listening.
I mean,
Okay.
Yes, that is true.
And
the
don't come with
problem
this.
is,
We all fall down and get up.
hey,
That ain't
Donnie
what we
McClurkin
saying.
is not here today.
They ain't what. Go ahead. Go ahead.
So the problem I find is that people don't even know how to follow Christ. They don't look at because he set examples, but they still don't follow those examples because it's not human nature to follow the example that he set.
All right, let me help y'all out.
So how do you take
that?
the old ways, the biblical ways, and apply them to a modern day without messing it up?
It's really just
Without tainting it.
Basic principles. But when
No,
you talk
well,
about following Christ, people are not raising the dead. I'm sorry. So you kind of got to come down to the level of where you really want to be at, because following the teachings of Christ had one message, and that was repentance. People don't understand that part. People miss that whole train. Being lost in the text and being so spiritual. He had one message. Repentance. And so everything else, who cares? I can really do that. I can do that and be right. Yeah, I can do that and be right. Because if you go back and look at the scriptures and read the stories of Christ, read his teachings, read what he was saying.
What about Job?
What did I say? Because this is how
You're a Joblian?
What about Timothy?
But
You're a Timothean?
But that's what my point is. Because you call me a Christian.
You're a Lucian?
Right. You're right.
You're
Come on,
a
talk to him.
Matthewian?
Talk to him. Because who you following?
The word.
All right. So if you're trying to compile all of these texts
Parables?
into, go ahead.
Because here's the thing, and this is why this is why I hate history. Because if you really look at how this deal works, nobody in the Old Testament was a Christian, not a single person,
Not a single one of them. Or the New
nobody, or the New Testament, none of them.
Technically.
Could you say that again? I didn't catch what you were saying.
He was too far away from the mic.
Yeah, I was just too far from the mic, man. What did you just say?
Alan was saying that none of the people in the Bible were Christians.
How could
Old
it be?
Testament and New Testament.
Okay.
Because even when Christ was on the earth and walking and teaching, there were still people that didn't believe him.
And if we talk about people being people. Look, the disciples that walk with him messed it up half the time. Like it's so many examples of people not doing it. Like, hey, we should do this. No, I'm gonna do it this way. Well, brother.
Oh, brother.
What we were taught was this. I don't care. These filthy, dirty dumbs out here. I don't like them because I'm Jewish.
Leading me to the promised
Hey,
land.
no, that's exactly what it was.
I know it.
That's it.
That's what you're doing?
That's what it was.
That's what it was. It's not no.
Yeah.
Don't let the smooth taste fool you.
And this is the funny part.
Beer keep getting in the mic.
A lot of the stuff in the Bible is rooted in the Jewish culture. So if you don't know that culture and a lot of the things that they did and said and ate,
Right.
you're gonna miss 80% of the book you read.
That's why you got to research.
That's why you got to research, man. I ain't getting into all that. I'm not gonna cause no problems.
Or if you have if you know somebody who might be a rabbi, they might be able to assist you. But that's
And
still
if-
research.
and if you-
but you're getting you're gonna get there.
Hey.
The problem always the problem with research is you're getting because you don't speak Aramaic, you don't speak ancient Hebrew, you don't speak any of these languages. You aren't from. It's kind of like, okay, matter of fact, because we would all relate to this. So if you already know that if you cutting up and your mama look at you a certain way, you already know what that means. Somebody not in the culture don't know what that meant. And so you got to now go to like, what was that? What that mean? I mean, you better sit down.
You about to get that fire.
You're right. But so you've got to. So that's what when we talk, you have to know what this would have meant to the people that it was said to even know how you should take it.
Right.
Otherwise, you just out here being a filthy, dirty dumb, as Alfonso would say. Which is also the problem, living 2,000 years after something was compiled.
Hey, you ever played that game Whisper Down the Lane? Mm-hmm. Where you line everybody up and we either say one thing.
Sometimes I think people changing stuff on purpose too.
I do too. I wonder what you say.
Oh no, we know that happened.
All right then. So
we know that happened. Okay, people change stuff. That old. Well, don't get me started on that.
Then. Nah, see, that's what I'm saying.
I got beef with a dude named James.
All right. Anyway, you got another question there, Fonsa Relly?
Not even heavy. 99% lean beef with that dude. You got another? What you got?
Well, they all say that you have to study in order to show yourself.
I ain't say it.
Who said it?
Jim Rohn. No, he said study, practice, and teach.
Hey, shout out to Jim Rohn, man. He taught me a lot, and he didn't even know me. Anyway,
we covered the ratchet and holy.
Yeah, we did. So my thing is that going off of what Alan said, going and trying to study something that you don't have a connection with, or you don't understand the culture or something, so therefore you are following someone who is telling you that XYZ is where it's at.
All right, so here's your other part though.
Okay,
because you should have a teacher, preacher, or pastor that can teach you thoroughly the text and the way to be a Christian. I believe the majority of the time, most people don't want to be told how to live.
Nope.
Yeah.
No, so you talking? No, that doesn't go with the whole sheep analogy.
Yeah, but it does, because as a sheep, I follow.
Right.
As a sheep,
follow a shepherd.
Right. Who's the shepherd? That's the problem. The pastor should be the so-called shepherd.
The earthly one, anyway.
The earthly pastor. Okay. The pastor, whoever you choose to follow, that's why you call it that. That's why it's used that way. Because that's your shepherd. He's supposed to be, and that's why you kind of got to know the book to know the right shepherds. Because everybody in the pulpit ain't a preacher.
I mean, if they out here abusing their sheep.
Hey, man.
Moment of transparency.
Go ahead.
I should get a sound for that.
I know, right?
Hey, yo, stop the music.
Go ahead.
I could use this, I guess. That's moment of transparency.
Go ahead.
Exactly.
Twilight Zone over there.
Right?
So, in my own personal experience, I have dealt with different types of churches, whether it's Baptist, Apostolic, and all these other denominations that I may or may not have delved into but participated in. The thing for me is there was always something going on that was completely separate from what I was told. Basically, it's like, yo, do what I say, not what I do.
Okay.
Type mentality.
Okay.
And I'll use this as an example. I am not going to follow the advice of someone who has been of marriage and love and things of this nature, who cheated with a mistress and then married the mistress and all this other nonsense and then cheated on the mistress and all other good stuff. So
I'm out of here.
With that being said,
okay,
it is difficult for me
to
even the most pristine preachers,
and that's
apostles, what they want to say, have shown me in one way of another that, yo, I'm not rocking with you because you're not all that stuff that you was trying to tell and preach and teach. You don't even follow. So why would I do
so
such?
Here you go. And this is, I tell anybody listening. take the meat, leave the bones. What that means is take some of the teachings and leave the mess that they have in their life alone. Because the walk is with you and your God.
For sure.
It ain't with you and everybody else. The positions are different, because what pastors don't understand and forget, they're going to be accountable for what they told the sheeple.
I just know a lot of
now hold on. Now hold on. Now the responsibility of the sheeple is to take the meat, leave the bones. You take the lessons and you go your way, because that's not the one end all be all of all pastors. You probably come up on these people for a certain season and a reason to learn something.
Oh, yeah.
You get the lesson and then move on to the next.
Oh, yeah.
Because you're going to have a lot of instructors, but you only got one father. That's the difference between people that are really trying to live the word and people that are just going to church. It's a difference.
Shout out to all the weekend warriors.
Right?
They reservists.
I know, right?
Y'all some Christian reservists.
The reservists serve a purpose.
They do.
The reservists serve a purpose.
That's right. They got to pay their tithes.
They keep the doors of the church open.
The reserves pay it.
Still paying that building
sacrifice
since
offering.
1962.
Hey,
Sacrifice
for a reason.
Yeah.
It's all going to come up. Yeah. And it's gonna be interesting.
Cadillac offering.
Spew.
Banquet offering.
You lukewarm.
We need the reservists.
But see, again, see all that other stuff. You know, that's business. No. No. That's the American way of business.
I had never heard of a sacrifice offering until you know where I would have heard it.
Sacrifice offering.
And I was like, but see, this has always been. This is the weird thing about me. This has always been me because you know I was on the finance ministry, and I was like, I cannot participate in this, sir. You gonna get somebody else up there? Get one of these other folk in the flock. I can't do that.
Speaking of,
can't do it.
And local or just what do you call that?
Not on duty.
Local events, or you know why we went to school and we had to bring a current event. That's what it was. Did y'all hear about the young man who was trying to fight the pastor because his mama was giving up all the money and he was driving around in Rolls Royces and all this other nonsense, and the community around it. Let me finish. We're gonna pick up.
I haven't heard about this.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
He was confronting the church or the pastor because he wasn't giving back to the community as the traditional church would. So pastor living good, but his mama over there eating franks and beans. So we need to figure out what?
I'm like that.
What you mean?
That's his mama's fault.
Why is it his mama's fault? I'm listening.
Hey, we're gonna end the show right there and pick up on part 2. That's his mama's fault. That's his mama's fault. I said it. Okay. Calvin Hill said it.
Dumb sheep part 1 and 2 then, I guess.
Hey, we coming right back.
I like it.
But I'm telling y'all, that's her fault.
Okay. So
I'll explain on the next show.
All right. Make sure you put it in
and it's all y'all fault.
Put it in the notes.
I don't need notes. This every day.
Off the dome.
all day. This all day.
All day. State to state. Man,
I don't need notes for this. Okay. It's easy.
All right. So in closing, I'll say this. That
in closing, we be back in a minute.
Yeah, basically.
Look.
Yeah. I'm
because they might not listen to part 2 because
they might not.
It's about to get ugly.
The reason why I wanted to talk about this is because there's a lot of fake and phonery and foolery going on. So I'm just trying to have a conversation about it. So if y'all want to have a conversation, hey, feel free to go to the social media platforms that we got out there, and let's have a conversation. Now
Calvin will be monitoring.
I was being facetious when I came up with the title "Filthy, Dirty, Dumb Sheep," but
it was worse than that before.
It was worse than that. So I actually edited it right before we recorded. Yeah. So, if you fake and phony, man, keep the energy away from me, man. I don't want it. I mean, I ain't gonna say I'm perfect. I know I'm not perfect. I'm far from it, and I'm not even in the church like that. But when I see that, I don't like it.
Let the wheat and tare grow together.
Spew.
That is what it do say.
Spew. We gonna be.
Hey, we be back.
We gonna be down there together. Boom.